Among the quarterback prospects in this draft class, there's always a lot of unknown. We have no idea how any of these guys are actually going to play, but I have been able to get a very good opinion of how I think these guys are going to do, because that's really the best we can do at this point. I've been able to do this for the top 8 quarterbacks, except this guy. Without a doubt, this is the most controversial quarterback taken in the first round. I have heard he is going to be a bona fide scrub and 100% a bust, or he is easily going to be the best quarterback in this entire draft, and he's the next Mahomes. And based on his abilities, but especially his situation he's going to be in, I think both sides are making a pretty compelling argument, which leaves him with a very wide open gap between his ceiling and floor. So in today's video, we're going to cover Zach Wilson's best case scenario and why he's a Patrick Mahomes Jr. And by the thumbnail, I'm sure you'll be able to tell that we're going to talk to see if he's the next infamous number 2 pick in Mitch Trubisky. Starting off with his ceiling and go over why scouts and GMs were so high on him and why he skyrocketed up the draft boards after people watched his film in depth. It started with his season at BYU. He had 3,700 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. He did it in a very impressive fashion too. In a year where there wasn't much attention on him, he had 2 pretty mediocre years before that, some injury problems, he was able to come out and put on an incredible season. So looking at the Mahomes comparison, I think most of this comes from the idea that he has surgically replaced his right arm with a cannon. He can throw the ball anywhere on the field. It doesn't matter if you're on the other sideline from Zach, 50 yards downfield, you better stick tight to the receiver. He also has great presence and is able to extend plays, and the best way to compare his throwing is really comparing him to a shortstop in baseball. A great shortstop will get a routine ground ball, deliver a strike with great mechanics, and get the job done. But an elite shortstop knows that most of the time the ball isn't going to be hit right to them. They might have to throw to first or second off their back foot, fading away, sidearm flip it, just honestly whatever it takes it to get to the target. And that's exactly how Mahomes and Wilson play. They have great mechanics, but they also have the talent to make throws at the most impractical times. And if you've seen any football game, you know things rarely go perfect. This is a skill that he comes by very naturally and will be critical for his success. He is also able to fit the ball into very tight windows. This is a credit to his arm strength, but also his accuracy. I think this only plays into his benefit that he played with lesser talented college competition in the respect because he often had to make throws into tight windows that more resembles NFL separation compared to someone who is throwing to wide open receivers. This has allowed him to develop a skill to throw with anticipation, throw his guys open, and make throws on a rope or with touch when he needs to. He also comes out with a lot of energy, and after watching some BYU games, his energy is infectious and is really someone a team can rally around, very similarly to Mahomes. All of these things check out, and this is why people are so high on him, and I'm about to discuss why people think he's a bust. I'm not going to talk about both sides of my mouth. I'm going to talk about things that we haven't mentioned already, because everything I've said so far is 100% true, if that makes sense. What makes Zach Wilson so different than Mahomes has a lot less to do with his talent and a lot more to do with his situation. It can't be understated because the situation you get drafted into is so important. For example, Andrew Luck is the best prospect I've seen in the last 15 years. No matter how talented, he never won a ring, and he's already out of the league. Zach is going to be a franchise with a rookie head coach, and even though he's a good coordinator, these are completely different jobs. Even if he is a good coach, he will still be the worst coach in the division, and the other teams in the division are only getting better and better. They have some of the worst ownership in the league, and having good owners is also super important. You want a good culture, people to go out there and get you a chance to win with. He will also have to start from day one. He won't be able to sit and learn the NFL game. He's going to have to go straight from BYU to the NFL. I'm sure he didn't have anyone like Dante Hightower or Matthew Judon rushing him in college, so the change of pace will take some time to get used to. He will also be behind a bad offensive line. Even though with their first round pick, that's a step in the right direction, he will more than likely be on the run a lot. And he doesn't have a good running back or any star receivers. The Jets have some weapons and some guys that can go out and make plays, but nobody that scares the defense in any huge way. This is so different from Mahomes because he got drafted by Andy Reid, a Hall of Fame coach. Great ownership, got to sit a year and develop, had weapons on top of weapons to throw to, and a front office that keeps getting him more weapons and a better O-line to protect him and keep him safe. He also got drafted by the Chiefs in a division that was really struggling and rebuilding, and the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chargers. Their situations couldn't be more polar opposite, and that is something that worries me going forward. So that's the situational side of it, but there are some things physically that worry me as well. One is he is such a late bloomer. He was the starter and didn't even know if he was going to be the starter in 2020 at BYU. BYU. He had one great year and you hope it isn't a fluke, but to me, this is personally more of a Joe Burrow situation than anything. I think his attributes are legit and he just made a lot of progress and put it all together, so I'm honestly not too worried about that. But there is still that issue of being injury prone. He isn't the biggest guy. He isn't a Josh Allen, a Mahomes, or a Justin Herbert. He is smaller for a quarterback, and that is worrisome with a bad O-line and injury history. This is why I think his floor is Trubisky. Trubisky is a guy that came onto the scene late, exploded, had a great year. He has a big arm, had mobility in the pocket, and sneaky fast legs to pick up third downs. He had a bad offensive line and was thrown into the fire game one as the starter. He had immense talent and looked like the number 2 pick some games, but he really struggled and just wasn't able to develop and kept a lot of his bad habits and tendencies from college, and he was also in a division with Rodgers, Stafford, and Cousins. Whether that comparison makes you want to throw up or not, Zach Wilson to the Jets could be disastrous. So for me, I think the moral of the story is that situations are everything. If he stayed behind Fields and was able to be selected 3rd overall to the Niners somehow, I would be screaming how much success I think he's going to have. He is incredibly talented, and he would be with a great head coach, a great front office, with a ton of weapons and a defense. He would probably be able to sit for a year behind Jimmy G, and even if not, all the things I mentioned, he would be able to make work anyways. He could stay safe and fix any flaws while still playing high quality football. But since that isn't the case, there are things that are troublesome, like the injuries, his frame, and that doesn't bode well with the Jets and in that division. So you can see why I'm not sure. I see a guy with all the talent in the world, and I'm still scared for him, and I don't know how much success he'll have. It is very double-edged. But let me know what you guys think about Zach Wilson. I know the comments are going to be 100% split on this, because everything that's been mentioned before in previous videos has been 100% bust, best quarterback of all time. So it's really confusing, and this is kind of where I stand on it. And if that makes sense for you, or if you can kind of see it, that you can kind of see it in both ways, that he does have all the talent, but situations are so important. And by the way, before I get going, the comment of the day yesterday was from Andrew Braun, and he says Jalen Hurts will go to the Pro Bowl and will lead the Eagles to the top of the division. So make sure to comment if you want to be tomorrow's featured comment in tomorrow's video. Make sure to like the video if you like this. Make sure to comment down below what you think about Zach Wilson, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. We are grinding. Let's get it. Thank you guys so much for all the support recently. You guys are truly amazing, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.